Heyo, it's OmniDog here from OmniDog's Vault, here with more root beer reviews of my Hickmanathon, where I read all of the Omnibus books or any books that Hickman has written for Marvel. Today's root beer, cane sugar soda, root beer, delicious root beer by Johnny Ryan. Now I don't think it's the Johnny Ryan that writes comics because it says since 1935 and that guy's a young kid. So it's by Johnny Ryan. Let's give it a sniff. Oh, it smells good. Let's try it. Let me try it again. Not very foamy, which is a sin when it comes to root beer. That's why I gush it up in my mouth so much. Not bad, not bad. It has a little bit of a metallic aftertaste, which I'm finding with some of these root beers, which is why I like Frost Top so much, because it's smooth all the way through. You'll notice I am drinking half the bottle. So it's not too bad. Johnny Ryan's root beer. I got it at Second and Charles, which has a soda department somehow. And I'm going to place the soda far away. As a matter of fact, let me set it on a shelf way away from my books, because we know what damage I do with soda in my computer. So today we're talking about Fantastic Four by Hickman. Volume 1 and Volume 2. Since I did 2 books, I had to do notes that are on my computer, so I will be referring to those in a second. But first, the artwork. Some of the artwork is really good. Here's some of the really good artwork. I have to say, the artwork is not strong throughout the whole book. Here's some more strong artwork. But then some places it gets kind of hinky. I guess maybe they were going with a particular feeling of the book. Book 1, maybe I'm thinking of book 2. Let me check. Book 1 looks like it's pretty good. It must be book 2 that has some hinky artwork in it that just sort of took me out of the book for a little bit. But as you can see here in book 1, that the book is, first of all, like Hickman's Secret Warriors, this thing does not come with a chart, but it comes with a lot going on. All you need to really know is Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic, Johnny, Sue, the Thing. Also, Spider-Man becomes a part of the Fantastic Four. Plus, there's the Future Foundation, which is a group of, like a school that Reed puts together full of all kinds of odds and ends of kids who are actually a main part of the story, because a lot of time they end up protecting these kids as part of the story. It's more Reed's intellectual battles than actual battles that seem to go on in this book. Reed also encounters a council of Reeds through this big machine he makes. Reeds from every single dimension possible, where they've all come together to try and solve everything. And I'm not making that up. That's their goal. Solve everything. Mr. Fantastic, anybody that calls themselves Mr. Fantastic is going to be a bit of a douche. And it still happens that Reed is still a bit of a douche. That's never changed for me. He's always been a bit of a wiener. So it is what it is. But you don't really have to know all that much about. Everybody knows the Fantastic Four and who they are. There are some There are some themes that go through it that connected with Secret Warriors, mainly Norman Osborn and Dark Reign, and some of the other things that he has tried to. I know, there I almost knocked my computer over again. It's not a follow-on to Secret Warriors, but some of the ideas trickle through, and then all the way through to Avengers. But here is a scene where they end up partnering up with Mole Man because Mole Man needs help. Mole Man, of course, is one of the very first foes, and it's a very interesting story. The plot, as it is, concerns Reed and the Council of Reeds, Sue as an ambassador to Atlantis, or Namor, Atlantis, where Namor is, of course, enamored of her. You can't spell enamored without Namor. Okay, sorry. So Sue's the ambassador because there's things going on under the seas. Johnny deals with the negative zone in this book, and you'll see somebody dies. But don't worry, this is comic books. And one thing I really liked about this Fantastic Four run was I didn't know anything about Valeria and Franklin, the Richards kids. Somehow, between being a jerk and trying to solve everything, Reed managed to get with Sue and have a couple of kids. Valeria is a 3-year-old who's smarter than Reed, and Franklin is like the most powerful mutant ever. And they're great. Hickman writes them really great, especially with the Future Foundation. Even on their own, they're great. They've each got their own little story going on, which is very interesting because they're both brilliant. There's a lot of time stream messing around in this book. I will tell you that right now, which makes it fun. If you have a problem with time stream manipulation, this book's not for you. But the time stream always gets messed up in comic books, so you're gonna have to just go with it. Future, Reed Richards' dad, who is lost in the time stream, comes back and counsels Reed, and you see a bunch of back and forth. As in a lot of Hickman stuff, there's back, forth, and sideways that goes on in this book. So it's not hard to follow, but it's there. So at various points, you've got Valeria coming from the future, you've got Franklin coming from the future, you've got Reed's dad who's lost in the time stream and shows up. Oh, I wish I had that root beer. I'm thirsty. So there is a lot of time stream manipulation, and I have to say the most interesting part to me was this Council of Reeds conceit, where there's all different kinds of Reeds getting together in this pocket dimension where they're trying to solve everything. I don't want to give too much away. It's an excellent book. Both books are excellent, and both need to be read back to back. As with all other Hickman stuff, don't read half and then go off on a vacation and then come back and expect to know what's going on. These are books that are meant to be read all the way through as a series. Doesn't require any supplemental stuff, but you need to read through because there's a lot to keep going on. There's a lot going on you need to keep in your head. The kids have also created a serum that makes Ben Grimm human for a week each year, which is pretty cool. And here you get a picture. Let me see if I can get a better picture of Spider-Man in his... Well, there's a picture of Spider-Man in his Future Foundation costume. There it is. No, not doing a good job. There it is, right there. There's Spider-Man with Ben Grimm. And he gets a white suit as pictured on the front cover. So that's pretty cool. Spider-Man joins to take the place of the fallen member who has fallen and, of course, comes back. So it's okay. Actually, where is that weird art? Because the art in book 2 is pretty good too. I think this is Reed with his Council of Reeds. Oh no, that's Reed with Future Franklin. Well, if the art gets hinky, it only gets hinky for a little bit. So it's not a big deal. This is Stan Dragata, so I always like his artwork in East of West, so this is cool. It's cool to see him do the Fantastic Four. So there's a lot going on that will make you want to keep reading because you can't stop. It is, I've hit the highlights. It all is headed towards the very end of Hickvengers 2, where I believe everything's going to die. So that's one of the things that they're all working on here, is that everything dies. That's more of a concern in Hickman's Avengers, which I will be getting to next. But here's some pictures of the Future Foundation. These kids are pretty cute for all their wacky hijinks that they're up to. So actually I didn't have to refer to my notes. I remembered it myself fairly decently. Oh, and Valeria has a relationship with Dr. Doom where they're like buddies, and Doom trusts her and she trusts him. And Doom actually does do some interesting, noteworthy things that are not bad necessarily. It's a very good character reversal for Doom. I liked it. I liked how it was written. And Galactus makes a lot of appearances as a friend, not a foe. We see Black Panther in this book too. Black Bolt. They all make an appearance. It's just freaking great. I have to say I'm not the biggest Fantastic Four reader. I've read all the Stan Lee, Jack Kirby stuff, which I thought was fine. I read it as a kid. Yes, I know. And I liked it fine. But some of the 90s Fantastic Four stuff, maybe early 2000s Fantastic Four stuff, didn't really sit that well with me. This stuff is great. Now it's available. The first Omnibus is famously out of print. Sorry I had to show it to you. Oh yeah. Also making an appearance is Conan the Accuser and the Supremer on Hala. So there's lots of stuff going on in this book, but it all ties together nicely. It's not scattered. It's not slipshod. It's not slipshod. It's not messed up at all. It all ties in nicely together. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's, as far as I know, it's available in trade still or on Comixology. Do yourself a favor. Don't spend the money on this book. Just get the trades. And I mean, I got this ages ago and I'm now just reading it. This book's still in print and not a fortune at all. You can get this and get the rest in trade paperbacks or something is what I would advise. But Fantastic Four is a typical Hickman book. Well plotted, excellent story, gets the whole family involved. I would say the family is the most interesting part of the book. For me, Valeria and Franklin are excellent in this book. I had really not read all that much about them that was that interesting. This makes them very interesting, in my humble opinion. So you get a bunch of interdimensional wackiness. You get time travel. You get Reed Richards being Reed Richards. Sue Storm being ambassador to Atlantis. You get all kinds of stuff. The death of a Fantastic Four member, sacrificing himself for the good of protecting the children. This book has it all. These books have it all. So I give these books high recommendations. And my advice, of course, get all the trades and read them right through. You do not want to stop, or you're going to get lost. You can take a break between books 1 and 2, read a couple trades or something like that, which is what I did, and then dive right into book 2. So, high marks for Hickman, as usual. I would definitely go out there and get these books if I were you in whatever way you can. So, thank you for tuning into OmniDog's channel. Peace and love, peace and love.